parts of it, and I'm going to make a new cup on it. So that's what we're going to work today. So I'm going to make a pattern out of the one that's on here. What I did is I already cut the elastic off of this side. You see it's attached, and it's attached there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to seam rip this side off, and then I'm going to trim this off and use this as my pattern. Okay, so I got this off, so I'm going to set that aside. And what I did before I cut the strap off is I marked it where the strap goes onto the elastic, so I know where to put it when I'm reassembling it. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this bracelet, this cup, off of here. But I'm going to give it a mark right here before I cut it so that I know where to put the center. And I already marked it on this side, on each side of the strap, so I know where to reapply the new one. Okay, so I'm going to trim this off very gently, and I don't want to cut the elastic because I'm going to reuse it. So what I'm doing is I'm pulling back the fabric and exposing the elastic on this side. I don't know if you can see that. And I'm trimming it off. Okay, so now what I did is I got it cut off, and I'm going to turn it inside out because this is going to be our pattern. And I'll take it to the iron and I'll press it flat. But right, there's darts in here. See the darts? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark where the darts go so that I know where to place it when I cut my pattern out. And then I'm just going to pull the string, and the dart's gone. See? And I'm going to do it on the other side because I don't need to cut this because this is giving me my seam allowance, because we need a seam allowance. And once we cut this out, I'll show you how to put it together. The next thing is you need to go to the other side because there's two darts, and take this one out. Same way, just pull the string and it should come right out. So now it's all open. And I'm going to mark the darts on this side also, just in case I want to use that side as the other on my pattern. So I'm going to mark it. And I'm going to take it to the iron and I'm going to press it now. So what I want to show you is I pressed it all nice and flat. When I'm doing this stuff, I've been sewing for so long that my brain thinks one way at the beginning and then I change my mind in the end. So we're going to have to add seam allowances to this, which is not a big deal. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pin that to the fabric. I decided I'm going to make this really cute. I'm going to do Cinderella. I think that's adorable. And that's what I'm going to make my cups out of this. Okay, so I'm going to pause, and then I'm going to I'll have it pinned on there and show you how I did it. Okay, so this is what we're going to do next. I laid my pattern onto my fabric, and I put Cinderella here, and I made sure I made it so Cinderella is facing in the proper direction when you look at it. I'm going to give it a couple pins to hold it in place. And the fabric that I'm using is a cotton stretch knit, and it should be very comfortable. I'm making this as a sleep bra, so it should be very comfortable and soft. And I'm going to have to cut 4 of these out. So I'm putting one here. Hoping I have enough fabric on this side. Yeah. What I think I'm going to do... Yeah, I should have enough fabric. Okay. If not, I have more. So now I'm going to make a seam allowance. And I have to make a seam allowance on the bottom also because I cut that off. So that's what I'm going to do next. And I'll show you how I do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this out. I've been sewing so long, I don't need to really mark it. I marked it where the darts go, and I have a pin at the center of the dart at the top. And what we're going to do is we're going to transfer that mark. Once I have this cut out, that pin we leave in, and we'll transfer that mark to all the sides of the fabric. So I'm going to show you how I cut this out. Because I need a seam allowance up here. I need one here, 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 and here. So I'm making it bigger. Can you see that I made it bigger? And then I'm going to go around and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Okay, so I want to show you the piece that I cut out. See, I made it bigger all the way around. It's only like a 1/4 inch seam. You can see I added on to the whole thing. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do the dart. And then I'm going to continue and I'm going to cut the other piece out. We leave this pin in. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to snip it so that shows me where the dart is on the bottom. Okay, now I have it snipped on the bottom. Now I'm going to take and I'm going to mark it on this side, and I'm going to mark it on the other side. And if you see, I'm going to mark it right here where the pin is. Just a little dot. And I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to do it on the other side. Just a little dot. And that tells me from going from nothing to something. That's how you do darts. Okay, so now what I did is I went to my other, because I need 4 of these, and I have it laid out. And I'm cutting, this is my main pattern now because I added the seam allowance. I'm going to cut this out so I have 4 pieces so that we sew these together and then you make the 2 cups. Okay, so now I have that one cut out. So now what I have to do is I have to transfer the dart to the new pattern. So I'm just going to pin it the same way we did before. I already have it marked. And I'm just going to pin it so it goes through all the layers, because that gives us our mark for the dart. And I'm going to snip it where we start at the bottom. And give it a little snip there. And a snip there. And now remember, we already have it marked on this one. So we just need to open it up. And we're going to give our mark here. And then we're going to turn it around. And we're going to give it a mark on the other side. Okay, so now we're going to take it to the sewing machine and we're going to start stitching it together.